Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. I'm Stacy Spivey with Lauren Coleman and Tim Buckley out in the Weather Garden.
Nice for joining us, whether you're watching at home, online, Facebook, Fire Stick, Roku. We have so many ways for you to watch us. We're going to check in with Tim in a minute, but first we want to hop into our top story.
We are expecting an update from Winston-Salem Police Chief Katrina Thompson at 4:30 on a standoff that started yesterday in Winston-Salem.
Officers were called for a domestic disturbance to South Main Street last night. Police broke down the door earlier today, but we don't know if the situation has been resolved. WFNY News 2's Avery Powell gives us details on what authorities know right now.
Police haven't told us exactly what happened in this situation yet, but they've been here since about 9 o'clock last night. They've been combing through the home behind me on South Main Street in Winston-Salem. Police were called here last night for a domestic disturbance call, which turned into a standoff with one man. We do not know that man's condition right now. There is a forensics van on scene, and a hazardous materials truck was here earlier. A neighbor told me the people in this home had animals, and we did see an animal services truck this morning. She said she actually had to leave her home because of the situation.
They were outside with the flashlights, and I looked out the window, and because that's how I saw the lights, so you're curious, you look out the window and they're flashing a light on your house. So then they asked us to leave.
One man who lives nearby said police came to his door and told him to stay inside around 10 o'clock. Then there was more activity early in the morning.
Heard the SWAT truck crashing through there around 3 in the morning, and I heard a shootout, and then after that, I've just seen a bunch of police present and everything. I really don't know what went down after that.
He said he heard law enforcement trying to talk the man out of the home through a loudspeaker. Police are expected to give us an update in about 30 minutes. We will bring that to you live on air and online at WFNYnews2.com.
We'll be keeping a close eye on that one, but let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup. The Forsyth County Sheriff's Office says a person's body was found after a home caught fire early this morning. Investigators say the body was found in the home on West Clemensville Road. Firefighters were called to the scene around 3 a.m. The victim has not been identified, and the cause of death has not been determined. Authorities have not released the cause of this fire. Greensboro police say the driver of a car that wrecked into Weaver Academy yesterday was underage. Weaver Academy students learned remotely yesterday due to the crash. Officials say that the car was stolen, but they're still trying to figure out who stole it. The juvenile faces charges related to the crash. The father of Brian Laundrie joined search teams in Florida's Carlton Reserve to look for his son. Chris Laundrie pointed out trails he believed his son may have used as authorities continue searching statewide. Brian's fiancée, Gabby Petito, was found dead last month, and Brian went missing shortly after. Laundrie's parents believe the Carlton Reserve is the only place their son could be. He was last seen on September 13th when he left home to go for a hike at the reserve. A North Carolina senator is calling for Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson to resign after he allegedly made homophobic comments. Senator Jeff Jackson is calling for Robinson's resignation after Right Wing Watch tweeted out a clip of Robinson speaking on the topics of, quote, transgenderism and homosexuality. Robinson spoke at a church back in June when he made those comments. The Right Wing Watch Twitter video just shared the clip this week, and in the video, Robinson said children are being indoctrinated in schools. Robinson's office responded to the senator's upset, saying in part, these issues do not belong in a classroom, they should be discussed at home.
Let's talk a little bit about this rain across the Triad. You might be seeing it outside your window, or it could be dry. It really depends on where you are. Right now, Greensboro dealing with a little bit of a light shower at the moment. Temperature is 68 degrees. There's plenty of humidity as well. Dew point is still 65. Obviously, whenever it's raining, it's pretty humid. Now let's look elsewhere. You can see that radar picture filling in a little bit in the middle of the Triad. And it's kind of similar to what we saw yesterday, how you have these rounds of rain from Davidson County up into Guilford. Most of this is light. but there are some pockets that have heavier downpours at the moment. We're looking basically south of Interstate 40 in Guilford County. Over here, let's zoom into Jamestown. You can see a lot of rainfall here, not too far from the Grandover area, Adams Farm, West Wendover area, seeing some decent rainfall right now. All of this is moving to the north. Lexington, you've been in and out of it. Thomasville, you're in it at the moment as well. Zooming out, you'll notice that's kind of the only one right now that we're watching. Just a little bit of a band of rain, probably lasts through about 6 to 7 o'clock across our area. So if you're trying to go to a football game this evening, have the rain gear handy because it could continue to rain on again, off again at times. Temperatures are cool today. We're only in the 60s, mid 60s to the west, low 70s well to the east. So it does depend on where you are as to how it feels. The best chance of rain going into this weekend is going to be overnight tonight into early tomorrow morning. This is 4 a.m. Saturday. Look at the midday. That's when we start to dry things out. So there's a good rain chance for morning and midday plans, but a low rain chance for afternoon plans. The best time to be outside this weekend will be Sunday. That's when you're going to be dry, warmer with some sunshine. Here's my idea for tomorrow. I do think there's a good chance of rain in the morning, lasting into those midday hours. After lunch, the rain chance doesn't completely go away, but it does go down. So just be ready, have a plan B for anything outside. And again, Sunday is looking great.
Well, the rainy weather won't stop us from getting ready for Friday football fever, and WFMY News 2's Amanda Ferguson is live at Oak Grove High School where North Davidson takes the field tonight. Hey, Amanda.
Hey Stacy, these are not the ideal conditions for Friday football fever, but hey, we got to do it, and they're going to play a game. Oak Grove is about to host North Davidson here. This is a huge rivalry tonight, and I'm here with Josh Yoakley. He's a senior tight end for the Grizzlies. Josh, we were just talking about all these rivalries that you guys have, the traditions that go on. Explain that to me.
Yeah, so we call this the Battle of the Tracks, and there's like at the end of the game we have a railroad tie, and one painted orange and one blue. Whoever wins gets to sign it, and then we have a bell like on a train, you ring it when you win. So yeah.
What would that mean to you to ring that bell and win that game and beat the Black Knights?
Yeah, it'd be pretty cool. It's a pretty cool experience after the game. You get in a huddle and you just ring it and start chanting and stuff. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah.
How important is it for your team to come out tonight and just play the best football they can and beat this team?
It's a little bit of a grudge match. Last year we lost in the conference championship. We lost to them twice last year in the playoffs and regular season. So it'll be fun, a little bit of a heated battle, so yeah.
What is the game plan coming into tonight?
Game plan, we want to obviously keep the ball in our hands. It's wet, so ball control and contain number 9. He's a good player, quarterback pretty good. Number 11's pretty good. So yeah, just have fun, good line play, good defense. Yep.
Well, good luck to you guys tonight. Oak Grove hosts North Davidson at 7 o'clock. That moves up from 7:30. So 7 o'clock is game time here at Oak Grove High School. We'll have all the highlights for you coming up on WFMY News 2 at 11.
Lots of fun, Amanda. Thank you so much. And you can catch Amanda and Luke Litton tonight for Friday Football Fever on WFMY News 2 at 11. We'll be right back. Well, you're not going to believe this. A photographer admitted he deleted a bride and groom's wedding pictures after the couple refused to let him take a break to eat.
Yeah, it's a wild story. The photographer shared an anonymous post on Reddit saying they're a full-time dog groomer who likes to take pictures of their clients' dogs to share online. And a friend approached the person about taking wedding photos so the couple could keep the costs down. The photographer agreed to do the shoot for just $250. On the wedding day, though, the photographer was told not to stop during dinner service. The photographer claims the groom told them to either take the pictures or leave without pay. The Reddit post says the photographer then deleted all the photos while the groom watched, and then they left.
Oh. Yeah, that's how I feel. You just have to like take a breath after that because, I mean, first off, the photographer obviously probably needed a break, but to delete all the photos.
Yeah, it's pretty messed up on both sides,
Exactly,
but it's
they're
hard
both
for
wrong.
me to feel sorry for the groom or the bride if she was a part of this, because you actually knew this person, and they're doing this for $250.
That is very cheap.
It
compared.
is when people pay like thousands to get pictures taken at weddings, so you could at least given him 30 minutes to take a lunch break.
Yeah.
Or a dinner break.
I mean, you should probably provide the food too, right? For him.
Yeah, absolutely. But I hope that the photographer learned, like the next time somebody asks him to do this, you know, say you need a dinner break in, probably charge more than $250.
Yeah. Oh, just a tough story all around. All around.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, you know the saying, not all heroes wear capes, and today we're celebrating those people because it's National Hero Day. This is only the second year for the occasion. The in 2020 National Day Calendar.com proclaimed National Hero Day as a way to celebrate all the real-life heroes in our world, whether it be a first responder or a family member. I asked you on my Facebook page who your hero is and why. Richard writes, my dad, and even though he is gone, he always will be. Freddie says truck drivers, because without them, this country would be crippled. And we're having issues with that right now. Rick is his own hero, actually. He writes he raised a daughter alone since she was 2 years old, had a stroke, lost an eye along the way, paid her way through school. Now she is an oncology nurse, and he says he's worn out, I'm sure. Gia adds, my husband, he nearly died in a motorcycle wreck in 2008, spent a year in a wheelchair, has titanium rods in both legs, and still remains an active firefighter EMT to this day. 2 years old this December and still saving lives. Wow. And Jan's hero is Jesus.
Jesus is my hero too.
Yeah, he is mine too. But you know, after becoming a parent, I have to say, my parents, I can't say thank you enough for everything.
Absolutely.
Now I get it, okay? I totally get everything you said.
That's what I was going to say too. My parents, you know, when I was younger, I used to be like, why are my parents so strict? Why won't they let me do this? Why won't they let me do that? But it's all starting to make sense now. You know, they've made me be a hard worker, be independent, all of that stuff. So thank you, Mom and Dad.
Yeah, Tim, you'll be my hero if you clear out this rain.
Hey, wouldn't that be nice? We wouldn't have to use this anymore, right? Mom and Dad's a good answer. I think everybody needs to thank Mom and Dad a little bit more than we probably do, that's for sure. But I will say, you know, the pandemic showed us all kinds of heroes we depend on all the time that we didn't really think about. Someone mentioned the truck drivers. You could go to the nurses, the doctors, like all these things that go on that without us knowing, when things stop going on the way they're supposed to, we kind of notice it.
Yep.
Paper towels aren't on the shelves and those kind of things. Yeah, we appreciate you.
Who's your hero? Why don't you let us know on Facebook? Chat with us.
Yesterday, you were all so warm and inviting when you welcomed me back to the station and to the 4 to 5 team. The day just really flew by for me, but that doesn't mean I didn't miss being home with my daughter, Baylor. I asked you on my Facebook page if you have any advice for me going back to work full time. Cindy says robot vacuum and meal service during the week. Savannah writes, be kind to yourself. It's an adjustment starting back. Chantel and Bobby added cleaning and chores can wait. Always snuggle that baby as much as you can when you get home. Nadine reminded me it's okay to cry. And my sweet friend from GMS, Megan Malaris, wrote a few things that helped her. We're prepping bottles and packing lunch the night before, laying out all the work clothes for the week on Sunday, and making an easy crock pot recipe at least once a week. That was very sweet of her. She's been helping me a lot in this transition, as well as Eric Chilton, you know, all the parents of the station.
The experts.
Very thankful for that and for all of your advice out there.
I like the one that was like, be kind to yourself, and it's going to be an adjustment. Because when there's something new, people tend to be a little harder on themselves, but just know you're doing a great job. It's going to take some time to get used to some things. But what would you say has been the biggest adjustment?
Oh, the biggest adjustment. I think just not being with her all day, every day. I mean, I went from 3 months, literally every waking hour with a baby to, you know, I come to work and I kind of have some me time and some adult conversation instead of, you know, baby babbling, which is a lot of fun too. But I think that's been the biggest adjustment. This is the longest I've been away from her. And it's going to be kind of difficult, but I can do it.
But it's going to make all those moments even better when you get home, you know, to be able to just play with her, see that laugh, because Baylor is beautiful.
Well, thank you.
She was just so gorgeous when we got to meet her yesterday. Hopefully you can bring her to the station.
I know, hopefully one day in the near future when all this stuff is gone and it's safe. So, and then maybe she can make her debut on the 4 to 5.
Yeah, that would be great. Tim, weather.
We need Baylor to bring the sunshine. Come on now, a little cloudy here in the Triad for a couple of days. That's been the case. And right now, of course, we do have some scattered showers for you also. Looking across Greensboro today, no peaks of sun. It's all been cloudiness throughout the day, and temperatures have held back in the 60s for highs. So a little on the cooler side, maybe a touch fall-like compared to where we've been. It's still muggy though. It's still humid to go along with these temperatures. And talk about consistency. Take a look at this. We've only been between 64 and 69 degrees today, just a 5-degree spread from top to bottom. And where's the rainfall? Well, earlier today it was out in the foothills, then it moved toward the Charlotte area, and right now at least some bands of rain are moving right here through the Triad. Almost all of this is light. So if you're going to a football game tonight, bring along the rain gear. You may need it from time to time. I can't guarantee it's going to stay dry for you. Now, the back edge of this system is getting a little closer. Georgia is done with the rainfall, but it's in no hurry. So it's going to take about 24 hours before we are kind of all clear from rain. I think the chance of rain pretty darn high tomorrow morning. It'll start to taper off midday, and the afternoon to me does look mostly dry. All the while, we have a little low pressure area off the Carolina coast that might become a tropical depression tomorrow. No big deal. Sunday looks great. We'll have some sun. High pressure gets closer, and that will lead us to a sunnier next week of weather, but still warm for this time of year. Rain chance, talk about it. Going into tomorrow, pretty high in the morning, but a pretty low chance of rain in the afternoon. Sunday looks fine. Go ahead and do whatever you'd like to do outside. It is the best day of the weekend to get outdoors without rain. 75 will be the high. And look at that. We're going back to the 80s by the end of next week. All the fall people are groaning now. I can hear that. Low 60s for the morning, so it won't be quite as humid as it's been. I do think a big temperature change will come next weekend, leading us to fall weather.
It's Friday, y'all, and whether you're already feeling good or you need a little boost, these next couple of minutes will help you start your weekend on a high note. WFMY News 2's Megan Malaris makes it her mission each week to find all the good news, bringing you joy.
Well, you always ask for good news, and you always manage to find it too. That's why every week I ask you on my Facebook page, Megan Malaris News, to tell me something good, big or small, that happened in your life recently. Alicia had surgery September 30th and is doing well. No signs of cancer. She said God showed up and showed out on her behalf. Marcy became a mother-in-law. Her son married his bride in the beautiful Grand Tetons National Park. April got accepted into grad school. Nikki went through a tough day, but was so glad her family of 5 was able to love one another through it. Deborah was able to go back to work after a terrible battle with COVID-19. Scott celebrated his 21st wedding anniversary on the 1st. Michelle's daughter and nephew celebrated their 12th and 17th birthdays. She said it's a blessing to watch them age and develop into the people God wants them to be. Brenda welcomed her 12th grade grandchild September 30th, this one a girl, and she feels so blessed. And Sherry loves these Tell Me Something Good stories. She said we need more positive things in the world.
Yeah, I'm with Sherry on that one. I love all the good news. Just has me feeling good, ready for the weekend. Yeah. What about y'all?
I'm thankful for the new Tanger Center. I'm going to go this weekend and see the show. I've been waiting a long time. I will say, I bought these tickets probably like 2 years ago or something.
Oh, wow.
So when they built it, they said, hey, do you want to get these season tickets? Like, sure. And haven't been able to go yet. So.
But now you get to go.
Yeah,
That's
looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, this week has just been a wild ride for me. Just be able to come back to work and on the new show. So it's exciting. A lot of good things in my life recently.
Exciting, and we're so happy to have you.
Thank you.
It's been a lot of fun having you here. For me, similar to you, I'm not going to the Tanger Center, but I'm going to A&T's football game tomorrow. That will be fun. It will be my first time going since I was in high school, and my sister was a student there.
Wow.
So looking forward to that, having some good times there and seeing the band and all that good stuff.
I'm thankful for football season.
Yep.
Yes.
I love football season.
I do too.
You can find me on the couch like 8 hours on Saturday just watching.
That's the best way to spend it. Yeah.
I love it.
And you have it in your Twitter bio, so you're really a fan.
I do. It should be played all year, but that'd be a lot of work for them.
Well, let's keep the good news going with this U-Day segment.
One day a farmer's donkey fell into the well. Now the animal cried as the farmer tried to figure out what to do next. Finally, he decided the animal was too old and the well needed to be filled with dirt. He invited all his neighbors to come over and to help him. They all grabbed a shovel and began to shovel dirt into the well. When the donkey realized what was happening, he began to fight. After a few shovel loads of dirt, the farmer looked in the well with amazement. When dirt fell on the donkey's back, the donkey would simply shake it off and take a step up. Pretty soon, everyone was amazed as the donkey climbed over the edge of the well. The moral of the story? In life, people will leave you for dead, throwing dirt that hurts. But with any pain that hits you, shake it off and step up. This is Coach Lamont reminding you to have your best U-Day. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, we're going to go out to that news conference on an update on that standoff out in Winston-Salem. Let's listen in.
Good afternoon. I'm Police Chief Katrina Thompson, and I've asked you all to join me this afternoon so that we can provide details on a significant police event that began late last night and concluded early this morning. At approximately 8:51 p.m. last night, the Communication Center of the Winston-Salem Police Department received a call from an individual who reported that a Gilbert Lee Collison Jr. had broken into a home located at 4201 South Main Street in Winston-Salem. The caller reported that Mr. Collison was armed with a shotgun and had made threats to shoot law enforcement officers if they attempted to enter the home. The caller also indicated that Mr. Collison was currently wanted by law enforcement on numerous charges. Following the call to the communication center, patrol officers made contact with Miss Jana Prater, who is a resident at 4201 South Main Street. The contact between officers and Miss Prater occurred at a location away from her residence. Ms. Prater reported that earlier in the evening, she had been involved in an argument with her short-term boyfriend, Gilbert Lee Collison Jr. Ms. Prater alleged that the argument occurred after she learned that Mr. Collison was wanted by law enforcement. Ms. Prater further alleged that Mr. Collison pointed a shotgun at her and threatened to arm her during the argument. Shortly after the argument, Gilbert Collison reportedly left Ms. Prater's home. Ms. Prater contacted law enforcement later in the evening after receiving a call from Mr. Collison indicating that he had made entry back into her residence and was threatening to shoot any officer who had entered same. As part of their investigation, officers determined that Gilbert Lee Collison Jr. was wanted for multiple law enforcement by multiple law enforcement agencies for multiple crimes. Those crimes included failure to register as a sex offender, larceny, and violation of protective order. Mr. Collison also had outstanding orders for arrest for 2 counts of driving while license revoked, misdemeanor probation violation, failure to register as a sex offender, failure to report new address as a sex offender, and 2 counts of possession of methamphetamine and driving while impaired. While some officers with the Winston-Salem Police Department responded to Ms. Prater's home at 4201 South Main Street, others responded with Ms. Prater to the Forsyth County Magistrate's Office, where a warrant for arrest was issued for Gilbert Lee Collison Jr., charging him with assault by pointing a gun in connection with the incident that occurred earlier. Officers secured a perimeter around the home and attempted to convince Mr. Collison to exit the home and surrender to police. When those efforts failed, members of the Winston-Salem Police Department's SWAT joined patrol officers on the perimeter of the residence. For several hours, SWAT utilized crisis negotiators to communicate with Mr. Collison via cell phone. Numerous conversations occurred between Mr. Collison and those negotiators, during which the crisis negotiators made numerous attempts to convince Mr. Collison to surrender peacefully. Those attempts were unsuccessful and met with threats from Mr. Collison, including that he would shoot law enforcement officers and that he was willing to die before going to prison. As the hours-long standoff between Mr. Collison and law enforcement continued, SWAT introduced chemical munitions into the home in an effort to convince him to bring the standoff to a conclusion. Mr. Collison utilized a shotgun to fire multiple shots towards SWAT personnel from inside the residence. Shortly after 2:30 a.m., Mr. Collison entered into the front doorway of the home and again confronted SWAT personnel. At that time, Mr. Collison was still armed with a shotgun. A less lethal impact baton fired by a SWAT member struck Mr. Collison in the leg as he stood in the doorway and threatened the officers. Mr. Collison then fired on the officers with a shotgun for a final time. 3 officers returned fire, and Mr. Collison retreated deeper inside the home. After multiple attempts to reestablish contact with Mr. Collison failed, a device was utilized to remotely search the home. Mr. Collison was located on the living room floor of the residence. Medical personnel were already on the scene and attempted to render aid. Those personnel determined that Mr. Collison was deceased. As is standard procedure, the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation responded to the scene and assumed the primary investigation or investigative role into the officer-involved shooting and the death of Gilbert Collison, Jr. The Winston-Salem Police Department's Criminal Investigations Division also responded to the scene and assumed the investigation into the assault on the officers. Finally, an administrative investigation will be conducted by the Winston-Salem Police Department's Professional Standards Division. The preliminary investigation into this incident indicated that 3 officers with the Winston-Salem Police Department's SWAT discharged their duty weapons during this incident. As is standard protocol, the involved officers have been placed on administrative duty. The involved officers are identified as follows: Sergeant B.H. Ashley. Sergeant Ashley is a 17-year veteran of the Winston-Salem Police Department and is currently assigned to the Patrol Division. Sergeant Ashley also serves on the SWAT team. Sergeant P.T. Watkins. Sergeant Watkins is a 19-year veteran of the Winston-Salem Police Department and is currently assigned to the Criminal Investigations Division. Sergeant Watkins also serves on the SWAT team. Corporal J. M. Heyer. Corporal Heyer is an 8-year veteran of the Winston-Salem Police Department and is currently assigned to the SWAT team. No officers or uninvolved citizens were injured during this incident. The investigations into this incident are in the very early stages and will be ongoing for some time. The findings of those investigations will be presented to the Forsyth County District Attorney's Office when completed. Because these investigations remain active, no further details will be released. At this time, I will entertain questions. Prior to doing so, however, I would like to reiterate the fact that this investigation is in its early stages. There are 3 investigations that will be going on, and with that, information that can be released beyond the detailed information I just released will be somewhat limited. Yes? Can you spell the man's name? The question is if I can spell the name of the individual involved. And the first name is Gilbert, Gilbert, and the last name is Collison, Collison, Jr. If no other questions, I thank you all for being here.
So you were just listening to a news conference wrapping up with the police chief of the Winston-Salem Police Department to discuss updates on that standoff out in Winston-Salem. A mouthful of information just coming in at us, but what we know right now is the suspect in that standoff, their name is Gilbert Lee Collison Jr. They were killed at the scene. We do know that 3 officers discharged their weapons, and we also learned that no officers or citizens were injured. The police chief did give out the names of those officers. As we comb through this information, we'll have more of those details on air and online, so stick with us. We'll be right back after this break.
Yo, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie, they forever go together like a classic combination.
Happy Friday and welcome back to your 4 to 5. I'm Lauren Coleman here with Stacey Spivey and Tim Buckley. Trio today.
Yeah, it is. Thank you so much for watching. Of course, everyone's on Fire Stick, Roku, or maybe the News 2 app, and maybe even Facebook. A lot of ways you can watch and interact with us here on the 4 to 5. But let's go ahead and get to your 4 to 5 roundup. 6 people are without a home after an apartment building caught fire in Burlington. Firefighters say they were called to the apartment on 1914 Trail 2 Thursday around 10:30. No one was inside the building when firefighters arrived and no one was injured. Officials say the cause of the fire appears to be from unattended cooking. Officials say a man they thought was an FBI most wanted was not the right guy. U.S. Marshals asked for the public's help identifying a man seen as sitting behind home plate at a 2016 Dodgers game. Authorities thought the man could have been John Rufo, a fugitive on the run for more than 2 decades. Rufo was convicted for his role in one of the largest bank fraud scams in American history. When it was time to serve his prison sentence, he never showed up. Rufo was last seen at an ATM in November 1998. He would now be 66 years old. If you're on the hunt for the perfect Christmas present for your favorite history buff, well, check this out. Lego's largest ever set pays tribute to the Titanic. It has over 9,000 pieces and measures 53 inches long when fully assembled. It stands 18 inches high and 7 inches wide. The company said it followed ship blueprints to create the model. The toy will set sail to store shelves November 8th, but you can pre-order on November 1st. It will cost you a pretty penny though, $630. That's quite a bit of money for some Legos, Tim.
Ooh. How about that? That is a lot. And I would probably lose at least a couple of those Legos, and then you can't finish it. And then what are you going to do? Well, here you go. We have clouds. We have some rain showers in the Triad right now. It's kind of one of these Fridays, a good excuse to stay inside, watch a couple shows, watch the 4 to 5, have a cup of coffee. All of these things are happening right now. And there is rain right down the middle in the Triad. If you're in the foothills, I think you'll be pretty dry for high school football. In the east, you might have the same luck, but in the middle of things, we are a little soggy right now, especially across Guilford County. These yellows always indicate more of a moderate to even slightly heavy rain at times. Otherwise, most of this is light to moderate. You see it over by PTI Airport. We're looking over at the West Friendly area, getting some decent rain. Same deal in Davidson County. You are covered with this rainfall as well. Randolph has had some. Otherwise, most areas are pretty dry. This band kind of pushing through between about 6 and 7 o'clock or so. We should be a little drier by the second half of those high school football games later on tonight. Temperatures, low 60s to the west, low 70s to the east. It really depends on where you are. It's a little muggy outside, but it's not warm. It's cooler than we've been. Now, the best chance of rain this weekend is going to be tomorrow morning. Look at the afternoon, though. We should be drying out for Saturday afternoon. So the rain chance highest overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. It'll go down for tomorrow afternoon. Sunday's the day you want to be outside. That's when the sun comes out. We'll have a full look at your 7-day coming up.
The United Way of Forsyth County's annual campaign is in full swing. The goal is to raise $10.75 million to help improve the lives of those living in Forsyth County. Organizers say campaign funds will be used to improve economic mobility by helping individuals secure jobs, reducing the burden of rent, and increasing third-grade reading proficiency. VP of Resource Development Mark Earns says the funds are needed now more than ever.
You know, you've got kids that are coming to school hungry, or kids that are, living in families that English is not their first language, or you've got kids with dyslexia. There's so many, the challenges are so great that you've got to have an organization that takes a step back and sees the big picture and brings resources together to tackle some of these complicated issues.
Now, as part of the campaign, United Way is holding its Driving Forward Together car giveaway. The organization will randomly select 10 finalists who donate $100 or more for a chance to win a brand new car valued up to $25,000.
Bringing this community together, and I think the caringness of this community, and I think that's the important part. And there is a way that you can participate and you can help and you can make a real difference in someone's lives, because there are people that are their lives are changed because of these gifts.
You must donate by April 15th of next year for a chance to win a new car. We'll be right back.
It's game show time!
Yay!
Yay! Let's figure out what smells in your house. Okay, is it the washing machine? How about the dishwasher? Maybe it's something inside the fridge, or worse yet, it's that garbage disposal. All right, you know, this is a common question, I gotta say, right? What is the most common answer, though, for your household of what stinks?
I'm gonna have to say the fridge. Like if I leave a bag of Brussels sprouts or something that needs to be tossed, I come in from work, I'm like, woo, what is that?
And you can smell it with the fridge closed. Okay, so Stacy, what about you?
Definitely the dirty diapers these days. Yeah. They stink a lot.
They do, and you're like, oh, I know what that smell is. All right, so, you know, we want to talk about how the common pet peeve is, like the washing machine or the dishwasher. It cleans things, so why does it smell? Because it's a cleaner.
Maybe water buildup. I don't know if water stinks, but that's the only thing I can think of.
But isn't it like a pet peeve because you're thinking to yourself, I wash clothes in here, you should not stink.
Right. I always had that trouble with our washer. I feel like it smells like mildew, and I'm like, what did I do to this? Did I mess it up? Probably.
All right, so cleaning machines, they smell, but let's take a look at how to fix it and everything else.
Excess detergent and fabric softener can build up in your washer and become a smelly haven for mold and mildew.
All right, so first and foremost, always measure the detergent and the fabric softener. Yep, that's right, measure it. When the wash cycle is finished, remove damp clothing right away. Wipe down that door gasket and leave the door open if there are no small children around so that the machine can dry out.
Your kitchen can harbor some strange odors. When Consumer Reports asked dishwasher owners whether they clean their machine's filter, most people said they weren't even aware there was a filter.
I don't think I have a filter. Maybe I just don't know it. Anyway, a dirty filter not only smells bad, but the dishwasher cannot clean as effectively. So you take the filter out, you wash it under some running water and replace it. Then you sponge around the corners and the floor of the machine until your dishwasher is ready for another load of food. All right, on to the fridge. You know, you want to remove the bins and you want to soak them in soapy water, and then use a tablespoon of bleach in a gallon of water to wipe down and sanitize the inside of that fridge where those Brussels sprouts were, Lauren, for sure. All right,
do that tonight.
Another source of mysterious smells, the garbage disposal. So freshen the drain pipe by layering in first 6 ice cubes, then a tablespoon of baking soda, 3 lemon slices, a teaspoon of bleach, and then another 6 ice cubes. You grind all that mess up, right? And then you rinse, and it's gonna smell like the lemon rinds. So I've put these home hacks in the 2 Wants to Know section for you.
Hey there, welcome back. We do have rain pushing through the area over the next couple of hours. I do think this will make for some wet high school football games, but it does depend on where you are. This rain really moving through the central Triad, not impacting the foothills at the moment. Zooming out, you can see the back edge of that system getting a little closer. The best chance for rain, that's going to be overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. Once we get to afternoon Saturday, we start to dry out. Sunday's a perfect day. Enjoy that sunshine with a high of 75.
They are either unsure. Since say they are either unsure or won't get the vaccine.
Hello, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Hi, Callie. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Three, 1, 2, 3. Sorry, I just turned my mic on. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Mic check.
Hi, mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Mic check.
Oh no, this umbrella's broken.
Not my umbrella. Here. Just fix it here.
Thanks.
It's time for my 2 cents. Do you ever hear a song on the radio that just speaks to you? It happened to me this morning. Yesterday was my first day back to work from maternity leave, and everything went smoothly and everyone helped to make it a great transition. But I have to be honest, today stung a little more leaving my baby girl. Reality kind of hit after spending 3 precious months at home with Baylor. I have to get back to normal life and I'll have to say goodbye every morning. I was thinking, how am I going to do this? Will it ever get easier? Will she be okay without me? As my mind spiraled, I just started to pray for strength to get through the day. Then a song started playing on the radio that really hit home. It was You Say by contemporary Christian singer Lauren Daigle. Some of the lyrics go, "You say I am strong when I think I am weak." In that moment, I was reminded that there are going to be a lot of tough days ahead, but I am stronger than I think I am. We will all face hardships in life. Maybe you're going through one right now, but remember, you are never given something that you cannot handle. Will it be easy? Probably not. Will tears be shed? In my case, probably so. But there will always be something or someone that will be there to help. Faith, family, friends, colleagues, or for me, a smiling baby when my workday is done. It's important to give yourself grace and patience when going through challenging times. Lean on the people you love. and turn on the radio for some guidance or for just simply a good jam session. That's my 2 cents. That's your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts right now.
Breaking news right now on WFMY News 2 at 5 o'clock. Shots fired, officers' lives threatened. A man is dead after an hour's